Alaikum.
Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah for coming.
Barakallah, Jazakallah khair for
VIP.
doing this seminar. Yeah.
Alaikum. Jazakallah for coming.
This way, your mom? This way. How you been? All is good? Good, alhamdulillah. Long time no see.
Yeah, you look familiar.
Well, I give the khutbah in a few different places.
Yeah.
You see me in Frederick, maybe?
Yeah, I was in Frederick. I do quite a few massages and.
Alhamdulillah, that's good. So, I've seen you in one of these good places.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Still surviving and still trying to help.
That's good. That's good.
Why do we continues come and try to educate our community? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Learn the inheritance and teach it to others. It is the half of the knowledge, and it will be forgotten. The first thing will be forgotten from the ummah." So that is our goal. That is our mission. That is our intent. That we want to educate our Muslim families how to protect and how to have a proper Islamic inheritance according to the Islamic laws. Can you guys hear me? Okay. No. Main question, $1 million. Will your family be protected? We have assessment. If somebody want to take a 2-minute assessment, they can scan this code and QR code, and they can have assessment to know how well they are prepared for this estate planning as of right now. The reason we asked, this is an email I got on the 7th, a couple days ago, from a brother who passed away at age 35 last month. He had businesses, a 2-year-old son, non-Muslim wife, and his parents. And he was in a divorce proceeding. No, his wife that was in divorce proceeding already moved out of the house. No, she wanted to come and claim the whole thing. And she wanted to basically deprive his parents and other family members from all the assets. He was just 35 years old. Small question. I want to ask a first question to you guys. This is a small family scenario, 4 daughters. And this is a beneficiary, 2 brothers. Is this Islamic? Is this according to Sharia law or Islamic law?
Of course not. Of course not.
Yes. That is what we get usually, that we want to deprive people. That's our help, and we want to encourage and guide our families that the main thing we are striving and the main thing we want to achieve doing Islamic estate planning, protection here is one thing, but the golden ticket Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us in Surah Nisa ayah 13 that these are the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whoever follow those limits, Allah will give them a glad tidings of a paradise. So that is our ultimate goal. Peace of mind, protection of the family, but hereafter we want to achieve the golden ticket. Brother Amr, one of our clients, last year, a day after Eid al-Fitr, he was a pharmacist, went into his pharmacy, had a sudden heart attack, died at age 48. We had the estate planning, but he never did any succession planning for his business. So his wife had to go through and all the, matter of fact, they lost their documentation, so we have to find their documents, and completely avoided the probate, but still had to wait and delays on the sales of pharmacy. He was a wonderful person, Harford County, and such an amazing person. Our agenda today: what is probate? What is estate planning? Who needs plan? What makes Islamic? Components of Islamic estate planning? And we're going to have a question answers. If anybody have a question in between, please feel free to ask me. What is a probate? Probate is a process, a court-supervised process to transfer titles of your assets to your beneficiaries according to your wishes. And probate is completely avoidable. The probate process can take minimum of 3 months all the way to a year and a half. So depending on your situation and the circumstances, the main goal here, we want to avoid probate at all costs. And beside the time, it is about 5 to 10% of your total assets are consumed in estate planning. If you in probate, if you do not have a proper estate planning in place. Delays, fees, and plus all the information that we own, all the assets we own, it is a public knowledge. If you go to your local county courthouse, they will have all the probate information of whoever passed away, their assets, who's the beneficiary, what they're receiving. So it is giving a chance to more creditors and more claims against your properties. What is estate? Estate is all the assets that you own, your business, your jewelry, and your digital assets these days, all the cryptos and everything. Estate planning is a comprehensive process of organizing and structuring individuals' asset and financial affairs to ensure their wishes for distribution of their property and their assets. The main goals of estate planning is number one, to protect our children. By the way, mashallah, we came from the masjid. What is the biggest asset we have?
Our deen.
Alhamdulillah. Not house. Deen is number one.
We're talking about the house in general.
Yeah, we are here because of Islam. What's the number two, the most limited asset we have?
Money. Time.
Time. And what is the third most important asset we have? Who says? Yeah, kids. So number one, our goal and our most important asset is deen. Number two, the limited asset we have is our time. We have no idea when our time is ended. So we have to have a proactive approach completing all the estate planning. And the third, if we fail to protect our children, what is the good of estate planning and what is the good of living and having all the business and everything? Protect inheritance from the creditors, provide disability planning, prevent all the delays. So we go into the comprehensive planning on what's your need and what is your family's goal, and we try to achieve on the basis of whatever asset planning we need to use.
Question for you.
Yes, brother.
About protecting one's assets from the creditors. If it's a legitimate debt, it ought to be paid.
It has to be paid.
Yeah.
It has to be paid. But the situation comes in, for example, since you brought it, let's say you put your children in your house as a title, right? You want to give them a benefit, and let's say they fall in a divorce scenario, right? And the divorce proceeding can consume your asset that co-title with your children. So, alhamdulillah, number one thing, we have to pay the debt, but we also have to protect the malicious or assets that coming from the different scenarios.
Yes.
Yes, brother.
We're talking about house and property in respect to quick claim deed.
Yes.
How does that reflect with the will for the kids? If you put your children, your family, everybody on the will, you set up a quick claim deed to where everything goes to them officially and it's recognized. In the event of death, how does it?
So the will does not come with a quit claim deed. The will is just, for God say anything happened to you, how your wishes or how your asset will be distributed. Will has to go through the probate process. You cannot avoid it. When you do the quit claim deed, that means you transferring your asset to whoever you want to have the quit claim deed to. Is that your children? But if you transfer your asset to your children and they fall in any creditors or any divorce or any unprotected situation, we have cases that, for God's sake, Allah protect all the children. Children falls into drug use. So how do you gonna protect those assets? So we're gonna cover that. That's a good question, but we're gonna cover that scenario as well.
Okay.
Any other question right now, or nice?
I have another question.
Okay.
Culturally and traditionally, most of us coming to America now,
Yeah.
like back home in the days, or if we abide to the doctrines of Islam over there,
Yes.
you can just write a letter or type it and everything,
Yes.
and then let's say this is my will, and then get it notarized with the Cali court and everything,
Yes.
and you're good to go.
Yes.
But now that we find ourselves in America here, what's the difference, the pros and cons?
We don't just find ourselves in just America, we find ourselves in Trump's America right now. Right? So there's, when you handwritten will called a holographic will, some states do not recognize that. You have to have a proper, guidelines. Your will need to be according to your county, then your state, and then the federal laws. And the way we implement Islamic distribution in there is because Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala required us to distribute our asset in a certain form. So we implement that form in there in percentage or fraction without declaring all the other requirement, or without that we have a Shariah, Islamic bills or anything. So we do not have a conflict in any court or any legal system. Distribution is according to Quran. The writing is according to the bylaws of your county, your state, and your federal laws. Good questions. A few estate planning mistakes to avoid. No plan at all. Internet. I haven't seen anybody complete proper documentation from internet. Even though ISNA and ICNA, they are providing templates, but those templates need to be based on your personal situation, your personal scenario. Everybody have a different family structure than the base templates. Incorrect beneficiaries. If somebody is divorced, somebody passed away, and they're still under the beneficiary designations, it could delay all your estate. Failing to protect your assets from all the creditors, IRS, bankruptcy, divorce. Again, we had a question on that. Yes.
What's the IRS?
IRS is our big Uncle Sam.
It's the place where you pay your taxes.
When you inshallah grow up, when you become a business owner and you have to pay taxes, then you're gonna find, man, this is IRS that we was talking about.
I wish I didn't know.
Yeah. Al Capone was, he was saved from everywhere, but IRS, got him. So.
Internal. Tell him it is internal, not
Internal revenue services. Internal revenue services.
Internal revenue services. So when you make money, you have to pay taxes to run the government. So that is the agency that collects your taxes to pay for the police, the schools, and everything that you utilize.
All the good things.
All the good things. And some money goes overseas for the bad things as well. What is Islamic Estate Planning? So Islamic Estate Planning, main concept is we want to ensure our wealth is distributed according to Allah's command. A specialized approach ensuring your wealth is distributed according to Sharia law protects your legacy while fulfilling religious obligations. Again, why it is important, ensuring that Sharia law, avoiding probate, preventing family dispute. We see so many issues. Like I showed the example earlier, the brother had, dialogue or separation with his wife, and he wanted to remove all his daughters from his assets, and want to give everything to his brothers. So, and we see so many cases. Brother passed away. His brothers are trying to say we are protecting our niece by not giving her our rightful asset because she's a daughter and she's gonna be married, and her in-laws gonna stole everything. It was a long discussion, many hours and many times, but alhamdulillah, we was able to help the family, the daughter and her mother, to acquire $1.4 million from the father and husband's estate. Charities, zakats, if you want to leave us at Kajaria, we can have complex planning If you want to have a lump sum, or instead of giving a lump sum to one organization, we can have a complex detail, investing into Amana mutuals or Azad funds or something, and have continuous donation going to the charities. What is the concept of estate planning? So proper trust on one thing, on the legal wise or American laws wise, but in Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Nisa ayah 5, do not entrust the incapable among your dependents with your wealth, which Allah has made a mean of support for you, but feed them, clothe them, and speak to them kindly. So the whole estate planning and guidance system, or guidance for the children, for the minor, we take it from this ayah. And next ayah says that, and they test the orphans in their ability until they reach marriageable age. Then, if you perceive them sound judgment, please release their property to them, and do not consume it exclusively and quickly anticipating that they will grow up. And whoever, when acting as a guardian, is self-sufficient, should refrain from taking a fee, but whoever is poor, let them take according to the acceptable. Then when you release the property to them, bring witness upon them, and sufficient is Allah as accountant. We share this ayah to our non-Muslim attorneys, friends, and colleagues and stuff, and they are amazed because until just 100 years ago, the legal system in the United States was depriving females on their assets and all the children's. So 1400 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a command how to protect our orphans and how to safeguard their assets. And when we are releasing to them, what are the criteria? We have to witness, we have to obey the bylaws. And why will is important in Surah Baqarah, Allah says, it is prescribed when the death approaches any of you, if they leave something of value, a will should be made in favor of parents and immediate family with a fairness, and this is an obligation on those who are mindful of Allah. So we have obligation to pray 5 times a day. This is another farida that we forgot that we have to fulfill, and this is a commandment in from Allah in Quran. And there's a hadith Prophet Muhammad said that do not let 2 nights pass by without having your will ready. If the brother who passed away 35 years old, if he had his will or estate planning, his family would not go through the issues they're having right now. And we get all this we get this question a lot. I don't have any assets. I don't have a lot of money. What do I do? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered for us. In Surah Nisa, ayah 7, for men there's a share in what their parents and the closest relative leave, and for women there's a share in what their parents and closest relative leave. Whether it is a little or much, there's an obligatory share. So no matter what is your situation on the financial file, if you have millions of dollars, or if you have basic day-to-day, you need to have a proper document to protect your families and your children. Again, these are a few of these. Abdullah bin Umar anhu said, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, it is not permissible for any Muslim who has something to will to stay 2 nights without having a last will and testament ready. We hear this hadith so many times, but still when we talk to a lot of imams, a lot of scholars, a lot of our family gathering, they still say that, we are still thinking about it, we haven't done it, we need to work more on. Next one is a good hadith too. A man may do a good deed for 70 years, but if he act unjustly when he leaves his last will and testament, the wickedness of his deed will be sealed upon him, and he will enter into the fire. If another end, a man act wickedly for 70 years, but he is just in his last will and testament, the goodness of the deed will be sealed upon him, and he will be entered into the garden of paradise. we told this brother same hadith that if you are trying to deprive your daughters, and if you want to follow and don't want to do Islamic way, there's many people that they can do. But if you want us to help you according to Islamic laws, you have to follow those. Another big questions we get, how can I, why don't I just leave everything to the Sadaqah Jariyah? If I have a children, why don't I just give a charity? Why don't I have just donation going to certain, Islamic centers or anything? But there was an incident, Hazrat Sa'd who was sick, and Prophet Muhammad went to see him. So they asked him, Hazrat Sa'd asked Prophet Muhammad, I only have 2 daughters. I don't know if I live or, die. Why don't I donate 100% of my asset to the charity? And Prophet Muhammad said, no, it's too much. And then they say, how about half? Then they say it's too much. And then they say, Prophet Muhammad say, ask 1/3, and they agree that 1/3 is okay, but it's still too much. It is better for you to leave your dependent wealthy than leaving them in a poverty, so they are begging and asking for favors from other people. So that also gave us another, big roll away, because your wasiyyah is only 1/3. The rest of 2/3 is according to the beneficiary designation in Quran. So you only have discretion amount of 1/3 that can be given to anybody, but you cannot exceed that 1/3. And your beneficiary cannot have a double, delivery, a double benefit that they are receiving their benefits and they are also receiving 1/3 from there. The whole Islamic state planning is compiled in these 2 ayah 11 and 12 of Surah Nisa. And ayah 11 start from Yusikumullah fi auladikum. Allah commands you regarding your children. So all those, when you look at estate planning, every single time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, tell us to do a will or state planning, it is the order to do. It's not just option. Same thing, Prophet Muhammad order us to complete a state planning, not just option that you might do it if there's a circumstances. But these are order from Allah and Prophet Muhammad.
You're more referring to the will, not to the state planning.
Yeah, will, basically when you look at the state planning, basic concept of state planning here is a will is also part of state planning. When you do will, another document, there's a trust planning or the will planning. But both are part of a state planning. State planning is who's receiving after you're gone. So when you do a will, it's a right-of-way distribution. When you do a trust, trust is holding, and that's a distribution after certain milestones.
Trust where you put all of your assets in the trust.
Yes. Yes.
And then it goes into distribution.
Yes. You can have, if you have a minor children, you can set up a trust. So they are the beneficiary, they are protected. There's a sub-trust, trustees taking care of them. If there's children with special needs, we are seeing more and more issues. You need to have a special need trust for those kids. So everything is a state planning, even the will or the trust. But then you look at it, do you need to have a trust planning or the will planning? And also, at the end of this ayah, there's a chance, like when we think about it, if you have a father who's 80 years old and you have a son who's 5 years old, technically, we will think that our father already lived his life and our son need to live his life, so why don't we give everything to our son? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you do not know who is more beneficial to you. So your father's share goes to your father, your son's share goes to your son. So we have to comply every single requirement in order to be Shariah compliant or according to the Quran. These are again all the distribution, all the calculation goes through every single calculation based on these 2 ayahs. And this is the golden ticket I talked about earlier. تلك حدود الله من يطع الله ورسوله يدخل جنة تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك الفوز العظيم. These are the limits set by Allah. Whoever obey Allah and His Messenger will be admitted by Him to the garden of paradise under which rivers flow, abiding eternally there. So as a Muslim, first most important asset we have, deen. Second thing we want to acquire, to go to the paradise. So this is one concept in Quran. Allah is saying that if you are distributing your asset to your family according to Allah's wishes, this is a glad tidings. This is a golden ticket. You do have to follow other things too. This is not, you jump over, but this is one golden ticket we tell our listeners. Ayah 13 is a big hammer. Whoever disobey Allah and His Messenger and transgress His limits, He will put into the fire to abide eternally therein, and He will have a humiliating punishment. Any questions?
I got a question.
Sure.
So, I like the example about your 80-year-old father and a 5-year-old son.
Yes.
Well, let's say something happens, like your father gets, really old, gets maybe dementia or something.
Yeah.
And it needs to be adjusted. So, my question is, how regularly should you visit?
So, that's a good question. When he's in a situation of dementia, Alzheimer's, or anything, the assets are there, that goes to him because for God's anything happened to him. If you are alive, then he's not receiving. If you passed away, then he's receiving. Right? Number one. Then if he's receiving, then that goes to your siblings or your mother, or your mother have a share too. But your other sibling can receive that. But if you are alive and you are taking care of his father, then he's not a receiving end part. Good question. But as for dementia, the older age parents, you should have an advanced medical directive as soon as possible when he's able to sign and put somebody in charge to deal with all the medical scenario and power of attorney. Any other questions? Did I boring anybody, or should we bring coffee? Or I know this is a deep concern issue that we have to go through it and we have to learn about it. So, like brother says earlier, the order of distribution is: number one, funeral and burial expenses, payment of your debt, your wasiyyah, your 1/3 distribution, and then the Shariah distribution of the beneficiary. So this is according to the Islamic laws. And Prophet Muhammad said that person with the debt is sealed upon him to his soul until the debt is paid, and even the shaheed is not forgiven his debt. So the debt need to be taken care of. Alright, so the components of estate planning. There's lost will and testament, there's power of attorney, advanced medical directive, and living trust. So based on everybody's situation, scenario, we will go through and we will first, yes?
Are you going to give us this presentation or should we take a picture?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. My camera is already turned around, and brother, can you just raise your hand? Yeah. So because no. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, it should be because the camera turned around and is following you.
It's fine. And now it's following.
Welcome back.
Now it's following.
Yeah, so brother Azad is also recording. We will have the recording as well. And if you want, we can upload on our website and you can listen to all the questions and concerns. But if you have a questions, we can, inshallah.
I was wondering about the PowerPoint.
PowerPoint? Why you need the PowerPoint?
Just wanted to read.
Read?
Yeah.
We have all the slides and you can go through, inshallah. You can ask me a question. I'm the person who created the PowerPoint.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just have to leave. I'm not going to be able
Sure.
to stay till the end.
Sure.
What kind of cost are you talking about?
$1 million.
I can't afford it.
No, the cost is basically, I was talking to brother earlier that in our medical field or in, when we talk to medical doctors, we tell them that prescription before examination equal to malpractice, right? So meaning that if I don't know what you need, how can I tell you the cost?
So do you have a set price?
Yeah, we have the set price. We do the consultation free of cost, anywhere from free all the way to $25,000.
Okay, and where could I find that?
I'm sorry.
Where could I find that?
Yeah, I can give you. Hold on. You can. All right. So the consultation one, you can scan this, and you can book a consultation. It doesn't cost anything. We will have the Islamic State Planning assessment is a requirement. One assessment that you can take the quiz to find out what kind of state planning you need.
We can find that in your website, right?
Yes, on the website you go on the bottom. There's a consultation, and in the consultation we dive deep into your personal questions, concern. Then we design a plan according to your family's
Is your
wishes.
office is local or is somewhere else?
Ellicott City and Virginia. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, sister.
We see someone has a Islamic Estate attorney and has will, and also as per the state, if they have something like if they have a 401k or some asset, they have like default goes to that trust your beneficiary.
Okay.
Which one will prevail? Which one will prevail? Let's see if someone has both.
Yes.
So which one will implement?
So there's two things. Your 401k, if you have a life insurance, they are beneficiary designation.
As a Muslim, we don't have that.
Yeah, some people, but as any form that is a beneficiary designation, that will go to the beneficiaries. You just have to keep a track that whoever is the current beneficiary, you can design the beneficiary according to the Sharia law, the percentage, or whoever is receiving on that end.
Now my question is, which one will work? Let's see, as per like state law, default goes to whatever the beneficiary, if I choose the beneficiary.
Yes.
My kids or my husband.
Yes.
Let's see, I have also in top of it, I have the Islamic State.
Yes.
So which will?
So Islamic State is also, we design everything when we design the Islamic State Planning, or you have designed, that should compile all your asset distributed according to the Quran. Including your 401k, you can put the designation or the beneficiary, their shares, your husband get what, your children get what, in the percentage point of view.
What I mean, like, is that Islamic State law is like compiling with or complying with this state law? They will follow it?
Yeah, you mean following Islamic law?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to, the American law required to fulfill your wishes. So if you have a distribution, everything according to the Islamic law, they have to fulfill and they have to distribute everything according to your wishes. Yeah. Yes.
Some of these accounts, like where they require a beneficiary,
Yes.
I just put my last will and testament as a beneficiary.
No, you should not do that because your will is not a standing alone, entity. It is a pass-through entity,
I see.
right? So your will is telling your court how to distribute your asset, right? So do you want to tie up all your asset in the courthouse, or you want to have everything go to your beneficiary right away?
Well, the thing is, you don't know which beneficiary is going to outlive you.
So if there's no beneficiary living, right, then you can have a contingent beneficiary, you can have a beneficiary A, B, C, or you can do a trust. If you have a trust, then you can have your trust as a beneficiary of your retirement planning.
Right.
But because trust by itself is a document, is an entity, you can have a tax ID on your trust, but will cannot have a tax ID.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that is just try to fix it as soon as possible. Meanwhile, if you don't have it, just put back to your family and have them as a beneficiary of your assets.
You put each and every individual.
You can put as many people you want. You can have, if your children are minor, do not put any minor children for the beneficiary, because then the court, the financial institution have to wait until their legal age.
Yeah.
right? So you can give it to your spouse or your family member and tell them how to distribute everything to everybody.
Isn't it 100% and you divide, like if you have 3 children, you do 33 or
No, you
whatever.
don't do 33 to each other unless basic.
Spouse and then?
It depends on how many children. Is a boy, daughter, 2 boys and a daughter.
No, I'm talking about 401k.
No, 401k, there's any way you want. If you want to have, they have to follow your wishes.
Right.
So if you want to have a 5%, 10%, or any way you want them to receive,
Yeah, that's right.
they have to follow.
Right.
They cannot do that. Oh, you only have 4 beneficiaries. I'm going to divide, equally. Yes, sister.
Isn't that then is contradictory with our Sharia law, right? Let's see, in American law, it says, I own Islam property myself.
Yes.
My spouse will get half, it's like 50%. It's
Okay.
like standard. But according to Surah Nisa, it's not like that. So
Yeah.
that's
So
why my question was, which is going to work? Which one is going to
no,
work?
sister. When you design that, the whole concept or the whole purpose of this education seminar is to guide and have everything according to the Islamic laws, right? So if
Islamic
you
law is different.
yes, so that's why you have your will, you have your trust, and you have a distribution according to the Islamic laws, and all the other 401k or anything, you put the percentage on there that whatever your husband is receiving, whatever your children are receiving, according to your Islamic laws. Okay? Yes, sir.
So 401k you can define to them.
Yes.
What about the IRA or brokerage account or bank account?
Okay, good question. So bank account, if you do not have a will, if you do not have a trust, usually when you open up a bank account, they want you to have a beneficiary in there. But in order for those beneficiaries to receive the funds, they have to have a death certificate, they have to have a court approval, executor letter before they can access that. So the simplest way is to have somebody as a co-signer so they can move, right? But the second thing is if you have a bank account transfer under a trust, then whoever's the next trustee, they have immediate access because bank already take the copy of your trust and send it to legal department. They review everything, and everybody's in a line. Whoever's the 1, 2, 3, 4 trustees there.
What about brokerage account?
Broker account, you can have somebody as a power of attorney, giving them shares of distribution, or you can have them as a co-signer on the account, depending on which account you are dealing with. But majority are the beneficiary designation on the brokerage account.
I have another question.
Sure.
The trust-
I'm going to charge you $1 million.
Sure, I'll give you
I'll pray for $1 million.
For the trustee, how many people you should choose as a trustee? Because let's say trustee dies.
Yeah, so we always have a layer of people in trust in your will as an executor in power of attorney and advance medical directive, and the guardianship for the children. We never let a single person hold anything. If there's no relative in the United States, we connect them with the Amana Mutual. Amana Mutual is one of the Muslim trustee services. They can be the professional trustee to manage the trust as well. Any other questions?
Same question.
Yes.
So if, for example, the bank account is with me and my wife together,
Yes.
I assume that for anybody if they will receive, for example, the other one automatically is going to take the charge of that account?
Co-owners are
Yeah, oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
yes. So she will have a full access, but don't tell the bank. For God's sake, anything happened to one person, remove the asset from the bank account before telling them so and so passed away, because otherwise they're going to freeze the account until the whole probate process happens. We had somebody passed away in Baltimore County. The account was between the person who passed away and his son. And I told them, I said, just wait, just go ahead and remove everything before you are telling the bank account that, my father passed away. He forgets, he goes to bank account and want to add his mother to the account. And Wells Fargo asked him, so where's your father? And he said, we just buried him. So he's like, all right, we're going to bury your account until you receive a letter from a court. So that's why we have to have a hands-on, approach. Our goal is, I went through the scenario of my father passing and the hardship and the pain a family feels. So our goal is to be there at the time and guide the family how to protect and how to take a next step and how to, remove everything and have a proper distribution instead of jeopardizing in any situations. We had, in Virginia, we had a Dr. Saab passed away last year, 3 days after his house was transferred to the trust. And the family was, the total, their estate was like $2.5 million. Total probate fees was $94 for the court costs. So those are the, yes.
We are discussing trust and will.
Yes.
Which one is better?
It depends on your situation. If you do not have any assets, you do not have any complexity in your family, you do not have any, children with special needs or anything, then will is better. If you just have a minor, you just want to have a distribution right in it. But if you want to build a robust plan for safeguarding, number one, protecting your assets from the creditors, you transfer everything to the trust, and then the trust holds and distribute your, assets. One of the problems we are seeing between husband and wife, majority times the wives are, living longer, the older age. Sometimes the children or their spouse are forcing them to sell the house and then moving them into the small apartments or, nursing home or sister living home. Meanwhile, they want to stay in that house. So we had a discussion with two of our, mentor scholars. One is from Sheikh Abdul Rahman Khan from ICNA. Any questions we have, we just call him and get the guidance. Second, we have a Sheikh from Medina University, Sheikh Yaqub Madri. He was a dean of Medina University and PhD in Islamic Warasa. And he teaches attorneys and judges in Medina how to distribute the assets. So if we have a complex issue, we call them and we give them, get the guidance. So we, on this scenario, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Khan say that if you feel like the wife is going to be displaced, create a plan that, until she have a full authority to live in that house while she's alive, and distribute the house after her death.
And that would be Islamically compliant?
Yeah, that's according to his. Because you are holding and you are giving her the right to live there. If there's a co-owner, it's like 50% ownership, right? She already have a 62% ownership after the death of spouse. So you are holding, you are delaying the distribution if it's under the trust. It's not on your personal name. When you transfer to the trust and then doing that.
But that can get a little bit complicated.
Yes.
Because if the wife doesn't have any income,
yes,
and she lives in $1 million home, then you're looking at, if there's a mortgage payment, there's property tax, there's maintenance,
absolutely,
all these wonderful things. Who's going to carry all these
absolutely
expenses?
And then also, if they fall in long-term care scenario and they are dependent on Medicaid or state employees, so you want to also protect, because in state of Virginia, after somebody receives Medicaid, long-term care from the state, and until the spousal, they don't collect. But as soon as they transfer the children, whatever they paid, they will take it out from they put a lien on it, on your property, and they will sell the property to receive that assets.
Right. So that's why that directive to entitle to live indefinitely, that's got a big question mark on it.
Yeah, it falls in a certain scenarios. If everything is good, if she have enough income, if she have any, like,
so establish a criteria.
Yeah, criteria. If the house is already paid for, if they have a retirement income or asset to pay the house, or minimize the expenses, and then they want to live there, instead of just going on and depending on the children.
Just two things. One, I'd like to see the basis for such directive to validate it.
Yes.
And the second, this can be very sticky.
I know. It is that's why estate planning is not simple. It's very complicated, and we have seen since 2011 so many different cases that sometimes, we have to get so many scholars involved in order to fulfill certain aspects.
No, the reason why I say it gets very complicated, because some of the heirs,
yes,
that are entitled to a share in the house, they could pass away during the process. And now they also have, heirs too. So it gets very, very complicated.
We did, I actually did a recording for Sheikh Abdul Rahman on this ICNA convention. That was one of the, amazing recording, and because the question that came out, it was very detailed and very complicated question. for the family. Somebody died before their receiving, and then the daughter was deprived, and then the family was holding back. So same scenario, it was a huge mess that lasted 15 years before the family got settled. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Joint account, husband and wife have the joint account.
Yes.
Account and brokerage account, the joint survivor from server. Any spouse died, it's automatically money get to the spouse, right?
Yeah. So your joint account, when the husband and wife owns a bank account, she can access that money. It's she still have to, if she doesn't goes and tell the bank account that my husband passed away, I need the full access. They're gonna say let's wait, let's go through the probate, let's have the court giving a sign. But she, instead of going through and telling them that so and so happened, because number one thing, if somebody passed away, the first expense is the funeral. The funeral is gonna be between $5,000 to $10,000 immediately, right? So they need to access that money right away. But if she goes and tells the bank, then they're gonna stop and they're gonna freeze account until she has the full documentations.
But if joint survivor, they say account is joint survivor, automatically get the money.
No, yeah, joint survivor, but if you put the money and it's your ownership, so 50% still belongs to you, right? If you're a joint survivor. So in order for bank to be compliant, they have to follow the law. And they have to see, number one, your death certificate was legal. The court gave her the executor, court gave her validation to go ahead and receive their money.
Even if there's a beneficiary on the account?
Beneficiary, you have to, wait. It takes 3 weeks to get your death certificate. It takes a few weeks later on to get your executor letter from the court. So then you go and tell them the beneficiary. They're not going to release your money right away.
But what if you have POD on there?
I'm sorry?
What if you have a POD on your back?
Pay on death, and the beneficiary is as similar. When you go ask them that I have a POD, if anything happened to me, how soon my beneficiary going to receive the money? They will tell you exactly what steps you have to follow and how soon they're going to be able to give you. Yeah.
How can you avoid this? Like, how can you make sure that, like, when I'm dying or I'm dead, that I have the available funds? Like someone can access the funds.
Yes. So number one thing, when you have a joint account, or each account you have a separate account with, for example, me and my wife, I can put some money in her account, or she have an account, some money in my account, that we have a control and we can access that right away. Second thing, we can have a trust. I can have my bank account transfer to the trust, and I'm the first trustee, she's the second trustee. The only thing she will do, she will take her ID, walk into the bank, and she have immediate access to the account.
So we can put the money in separate accounts, and the other thing is to have a trust.
Yes.
And that is we get immediate access.
Immediate access. Trust gave you immediate access. It doesn't have to pay the probate or death certificate or anything. It's immediate access right away. Yes, brother.
Yeah. So the distribution of the asset is gonna be taxed.
Oh.
Inheritance tax?
If it's more than $15 million, actually $5 million in the state of Maryland. So the state exemption for Maryland is $5 million, 16% inheritance tax after $5 million, and if your state is beyond $15 million federally, you pay 40% taxes on it. That's the benefit of Trump. He increased from, it was dropping down to 5 million, he increased it to 15 million. Yes, brother.
Yeah, what I've seen with the joint accounts, I say that if you don't tell the bank that this person passed away, but what if it comes back that the one who you are sharing the account with use all the funds before the other beneficiaries or the other inheritors get access to that fund?
Good point.
Would it come back that he or she committed something?
Yeah, see, that's a double-edged sword. Huh? Because that's a double-edged sword. If somebody want to utilize or misuse your funds and they have a co-signer, they can go and empty out the whole bank without your information. So again, when you have, in that scenario, if you feel situation is, bad, then we have to have a different course of action. We need to have a protection in place that you have a full control, but you gave somebody rights and somebody control after you.
That one is not easy to tell. We get to know people as the situations come. You can't tell how they're gonna behave.
Yeah.
Before something happens.
I did a seminar in Harford County, and the brother was asking, how much is my wife is getting? How much, what is the shares? What is the share? If my wife, anything happened to me, how much my wife, how she's protecting, what is happening? I said, brother, are you married? He said, no, I'm still looking for a wife.
That's a good one.
So, and he was, a scholar from Al-Azhar University. So who was a Rekna, and he came up and he's like, Assalamu alaikum, brother, how are you? I said, brother, did you find your wife yet? He said, no, I'm still looking. So every single scenario, we have seen these cases that somebody trying to manipulate or somebody trying to take advantage of somebody. So in those scenarios, our goal is to create a robust plan, maybe use a trust. If there's even, we can use an irrevocable trust in certain cases that if you feel like, if anything happened to me or I'm in a hospital, my asset will be taken advantage of, we can use irrevocable trust and have a tax ID and take it out of your state, and nobody can change that trust. Only the beneficiary or trustee that they can distribute those.
From an Islamic standpoint, spouses should not commingle their assets and their wealth.
Yeah.
Because in each inheritance situation, be it the wife or the husband, they're the heirs and they get different distributions based on what Islam describes. So what do you recommend in this case? Because you see sometimes a lot of people with real estate, talking about spouses,
yes,
they commingle the shares, and in reality the property does not belong to both of them.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily equal distribution if it does. What do you recommend in a case like this? And also, what would be the implications when the time comes, for the court to rule in the matter, or some disputed property, whether this belongs to the deceased or to the surviving spouse?
Yes. Also, if you, mashallah, you are a doctor, a multimillionaire, and you want to put house under your wife's name, and even you are making a payment, Islamically it belongs to you.
Right. Legal
point of view, it belongs to your wife. Right? So in those scenarios, majority, 90% of the cases we see, the house is owned by husband and wife combined. So even though husband is making a payment, there's a joint tendency to distribute your asset. So in that scenario, we have to follow the legal and the Islamic as well. Because legal point of view, the wife owns a 50%, husband owns a 50%. Islamically, if the husband buys it, he pays for it, that's his 100% share. And then wife feels like, 1/8, I'm only receiving 1/8, what I'm going to do with
12.5%.
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I have minor children, I depend. So there, in your Islamic distribution system, you can give a gift while you're alive, transferring anything to anybody without any limit. So if I want to give a gift to my wife, I transfer something to her while I'm alive, under her ownership, that is a gift I'm giving her, which is completely allowed, right? So if we have that scenario, then that's her property, and then she can distribute any way she wants. Yes.
I have a question with that gift you're talking about. Does
Yes.
it have to be legally or Islamically within your trust and will?
Gift, when you first Islamically, you have to follow. You do not want to. You have properties, give it to everything to your wife and to private children, right? Ethically, Islamically, ethically, and then legally. When you transfer, that is a legal transaction, because when you transfer property to somebody, you're putting under their name. Yes, sir.
So, because we are discussing like missing person, for example, like you hear the example of gift to your wife, which means that you have a will or a trust. For example, should you die, it means that your wife should also have a will and trust.
Yes, absolutely.
It means that we are not talking about one thing, we are talking about multiple.
Yes, so when we do the estate planning, not just a will, three basic documents we guide our clients to have: will, medical directive, power of attorney. What does will do? Handle your distribution. If you have a minor children, it goes to the guardianship. Appoint an executor. These are the three jobs a will does. You need a financial durable power of attorney. So if you are traveling or if you are incapacitated, somebody need to be able to manage your financial affairs, right? The power of attorney gave them the power to handle all those financials. If you are in a hospital and somebody need to deal with the hospital, or to, what kind of treatment you're getting, what is the scenarios, organ donations or not, autopsy or not, and finally the Islamic burial, where you want to be buried, who you want to be buried. That is in advanced medical directive. And everybody have a separate documents. So when we go to the trust planning, that is more comprehensive. The trust can be joint, the trust can be individual, but then there's an additional document on top of all those basic documents. So there used to be something called joint will, but when they start having all these issues that one person passed away and the will is jeopardized in a court, and it's a confusion. So it is an individual will for husband and one will for wife. Good question. Yes, brother.
If there is a house with three names on the deed.
Yes.
Two out of three people pass away.
Yes.
Is there going to be an issue in ownership for the third person?
Two of the three passed away.
Yes.
So the ownership, when they pass away same time or separately? Separately. So if the first person died, it should transfer to the remaining two, right? And when the second person died, it should transfer to the third person.
It should be transferred to the heirs.
Yeah, so basically if he's asking that the ownership, there are three owners in one property, right? So whoever's are leaving, his name is coming out. Beneficiary is different. Beneficiary, like if one person passed away and he did not have a specific will or guideline that his share, for example, there's a tenancy in common, tenancy in entirety. Tenancy in common means that I own 33% of my shares in that property. Anything happened to me, my children and my spouse will receive my benefit. But if I have tenancy in common entirety, that means if anything happened to me, whoever's a remaining, co-signer or the person on the deed, he will get my shares. So those two people will have my share divided among them half and half. So two different scenarios. Number one, you have to plan for your descendant and you plan for your partners, depending if there's a partnership or if it's between father and children, or husband, wife, and son. Good question. Anything else? Sorry. Oh. So remember the 1/3 we talked about? We're gonna go back to it. We see in the cases marriage in non-Muslim, having dependent or having adopted children, or we have in-laws, we have somebody become a Muslim and their parents are non-Muslim, or family member is still out of Islam. So 1/3 that we talked about earlier in the discussion, that is a wasiyyah, that is what we can give them as a gift. They are not a beneficiary, they can get the gift of 1/3 up to maximum 1/3, even they are adopted children. I'm sorry?
The rest of the question.
Sure, what question do you have? We have
the parents, the non-Muslim parents, for example.
Yes, so non-Muslim parents, non-Muslim children's, adopted children's, in-laws, your in-laws, they are not beneficiary. All the step relationships, stepchild, stepmother, children born of wedlock, convicted murder of tester. We did have that issue as well. Son murdered his father in New York, so automatically if he does that, he does not receive any share from his father's assets. So
just for clarification, I mean, there's no such a thing as adoption in Islam, but you're referring to this from a legal standpoint.
Yes.
So the non-Muslim parents, they don't inherit. that they can.
They're not the beneficiary. Maximum you can give them 1/3 to take care of them, or as a gift on your death. But in your lifetime, you can take care of them. You can give them a gift, or whatever you want to do. You deal with them in your lifetime. This is upon your death, whatever asset you have when you pass away.
And non-Muslim child.
Yeah, non-Muslim child, same thing. They cannot be beneficiary, and if they leave Islam, they cannot be your beneficiary anymore. The maximum they will receive is just one as a gift, 1/3. Through this. Every document we do is color coded with my cell phone information all there. If there's any situation, we have received call at 2 a.m. somebody passed away and we need to, guide the family. So again, I went through the scenario of when I lose my father, and I know the pain, I know the agony. Our goal is to be the, as a service-oriented or as a servant at that time, not causing any more problem, but solving problems. We had Brother Amir's wife, actually, we went there like a few times and she's like, what is your payment? I said, sister, brother already paid me when he completed documents. I do not have a power in me to charge you any fees, even though regardless of your assets, you are grieving. He passed away uncertainly, and this is our service that he already paid for us.
Question about people who own assets overseas.
Yes, good question.
So that's obviously beyond the reach of the law here.
Yes.
So how do you handle issues like that?
So there's a few ways to handle it. Number one, you can give a power of attorney to somebody. They can be registered with that certain, for example, I'm from Pakistan. So I can give a power of attorney to my wife or my brother. They can have a certified copy in the Embassy of Pakistan, and then they can use to manage or sell or take care of the property. Number two, you can give a detail in your trust or will that I have. If somebody doesn't know, how can they manage? Then if for God's anything happened, then they have to go through the full, in my scenario, when my father died, he had a plot in Islamabad. Then, my mother need to have a power of attorney, register and notarize from Embassy of Pakistan, send it to somebody. They was able to manage and transfer and sell the property. A lot of good questions.
You also know IRS has to know about this, right?
I'm sorry?
You also, Uncle Sam has to know about all this stuff.
Yes,
even before you die.
Yes. So if you are a U.S. citizen, after moving from other country to this country, within 10 years you have to declare all your assets overseas in your taxations. At the time of your death, if you do not do that and you still have assets, nice, good question. Anybody else?
I have a question. If
Sure.
you have a will in another state, do you have to update it or
Yes,
change
absolutely.
it?
Your will declare that the county you are resident. So I live in Anne Arundel County. My will declare that I, Yasir Zia, resident of Anne Arundel County, declare this is my will. And second line will say all my previous will beyond that date will be avoided. So if I create a will today, anything has been done before is automatically avoided.
To the best of my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, in the state of Maryland, you do not have to have your will notarized.
You do not have to have a notarized, or you do not even also have to register the will with a court.
Right.
But it is better to have a notarized because, let's say, when you witness, if any witness move or somebody have issue of, going or what is it called, contesting your will. So if will is notarized, it's giving you better chance to have a distribution accordingly.
And registered with the county.
Yeah, well, when you register with the county, all they do, they put it in an envelope and put it in a safeguard. So if you do not have any cases or any issues that your will could be manipulated or somebody can misuse, you can have your will with your family and execute it at the time of death. Because when you update future, if you have future children or if you move from one place to another place, then you have to be current on that document.
Right, but as far as distribution is concerned, there's the Schedule A typically attached as an addendum to the will, and that basically covers every scenario that is to come up at the time of death. In other words, not every time you have a newborn or a lost child or anything that you have to update it.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Like how robust is your bill? Bill could be 2 pages. Bill could be 10 pages long. Yeah. Same thing. The trust we have average trust we do is about 50 pages long.
The Schedule A that I'm referring to, basically, it narrates every possible scenario that is mentioned in the Quran.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can have all the distribution, but the only issue we find on that, then they have to have all the calculation done at the time of the death. Then they call us, like we receive a call from California that somebody passed away. Can you help us calculate the proper distribution? So if we have like scenario A, B, C, or we calculate the shares on percentage or fraction, then it's easier for them to comply and move the process faster.
Can you touch upon revocable and irrevocable trust?
Sure. Unless you have assets beyond 30 million, or if you are individual, $15 million, or in state of Maryland, if you are beyond $5 million, and you want to donate something to somebody, some charity, something like a waqf in Islamic laws, you do not need an irrevocable trust. The reason for that, because when you set up irrevocable trust and you transfer your asset to it, you lose your control over those assets. You cannot sell, you cannot do anything. Only the beneficiaries and the trustee, they can manage in there. Or there's some other scenarios, like, somebody working and somebody trying to steal away from you, and you want to protect those assets and give it to your children, so you make your children as a beneficiary, and you put it in irrevocable trust. There's also something called, I don't want to touch back, but irrevocable life insurance trust, ILAT. So you can set up a life insurance, and the trust is just for design for that. That is basically, if anything happened to you, the proceed goes to that trust, and they take care of it. That is irrevocable trust. But when you have a revocable trust, that's when you can change, you can do whatever you need, whenever you need. You can manage, you can, rent or whatever, anything optation, you can do it. And you can also revoke that at the time you want to do it. Yes.
But for revocable and irrevocable, their tax benefits differences, correct?
It depends on your state. Yeah, and depends, like, you're trying to avoid capital gain tax or estate tax. So if your taxation is beyond $5 million in state of Maryland, or $13 million federally, 15 million I know actually, then you put it in the irrevocable trust. But if not, then you put it in revocable trust. And also, upon the death, there's certain clause. You can have a revocable trust convert into irrevocable upon death, or you can have a unit trust, which is a revocable if you want to have an easiness for your spouse or your children. Yes, sir. Walaikum salam.
Does your cover bequest? Yes.
Bequest?
Having a bequest within your will.
Explain, like, what topic you
so like my dear brother mentioned, everything is about it equally. Let's say you want a portion of those to like your masjid.
Yes. So yes. So basically, 1/3 your wasiyyah request is 1/3 of your total assets. That you can choose your charity. You can choose any non-Muslim family members. Anybody beside family, if you want to help somebody, maximum you can give a 1/3 gift to them. They're not technically beneficial, but that's a gift to them. Yeah.
So,
yes, brother.
So most of the properties you own with, it's like with your wife. It's automatically 50%.
Legally, American point of view, it's 50% ownership for her, 50% to you. If you put her name, so let's say we both are partners, we set up something, right? That is, unless we define in there what percentage we own, it's automatically considered as a 50-50. If me and my wife own a property, it's considered 50-50. And the terminology you use afterward, like, tenancy by entirety, that means that if anything happened to me, it goes to her. I own a property with my brother, so we have a tenancy in common, meaning and my share goes to my family, his share goes to his family.
Yeah, we need to know those stuff in America.
We are here to serve, brother.
What about the brother and sister, Islamic law, how much is entitled?
If you define brother and sister, they like as a beneficiary or a gift or what's the idea?
Like what is the share? Like you have the son double and sister.
Okay, so your children.
Yeah.
So we always get this: why does the daughters or sisters only receive half the son? Is that unjust or not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala design the estate planning or the distribution according to our needs and our best. When a daughter or a sister receive a half the share, that is her money to be used. A brother or son does not have any rights over. But being a brother or son receiving 2 times the share, the daughter and sister still a responsibility of that person to take care of them. So that's why, and in Islamic laws, if there's only daughters, they receive up to 50% shares. If there's only 2 daughters, the highest share given to anybody is daughters. Then, if there's no brothers or if there's no sons, then your siblings are their beneficiary as well. Yes, brother.
According to Islamic law, is life insurance haram completely, and it's so what about having an insurance like a death benefit?
Brother, it's a complicated issue. There's many school of thoughts. I've been debating this since 2007. Right?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So he says that according to the Islamic law, is life insurance is completely forbidden, or is there any way or anything that can be done, or if something passed away, how can we protect ourselves? So protect your family. Do you want to answer that, or?
Quite candidly, for those who spoke about the issue, I'm talking about scholars. They raised a number of issues with respect to life insurance. Number one is known as al-gharar. Al-gharar means that you're buying something you don't know if you're going to reap the benefit, or and they also looked at it as a kind of gamble as well. I could buy a life insurance policy for $100,000. I make 3 payments. I die. I collect $100,000. So there's some sort of a gamble in there, plus other issues that they've raised. I find, based on the fatwas, to be this closest to the truth.
Yes.
Wallahu ta'ala.
There are some scholars like Sheikh Joe Bradford. There's some other scholars, even Dr. Zakir Naik and some other people. They say it is allowed. But when you go in the life insurance, there's 2 kind of life insurance companies in the United States. One is mutual based, one is stock based. Stock based company, if they earn a profit, they share with the stockholders. A mutual based, if they earn a profit, the policy owners are the owners of the mutual company. So you receive a dividends in their shares. So according to certain scholars, it is if you are, number one, if you decide everything is taken care of, you don't need life insurance, family is protected, then it's good. If you need to have it, according to some scholars, they say that number one, it should be a non-profit or a mutual company that allows certain shares and you are receiving profit or share.
But in this case, you're an investor. You're not buying from a traditional insurance company, or it's a gamble, you collect or you don't collect. In this case, you are a shareholder.
Yes.
So this is really not your traditional life insurance policy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in this case, I can understand that part. Sure, you invest in money, you're buying assets, you're entitled to whatever profit or dividend that you get from the share.
That's why they say that the mutual company is closer to the Islamic laws than the stock-based company.
Yeah.
So hope you got that
answer. No, but I'm saying the traditional company is that you're not investing in anything. I'm just basically buying a life insurance policy for 100,000, 200, $1 million.
Yes.
I'm going to make this many payments or whatever. And if I die tomorrow, I collect this much.
Yes.
If I die the day after, I collect a higher percentage. So you're not actually a stockholder or shareholder or any of that.
Yes, that's a traditional stock-based company. When you buy the policy from there, there's no profit sharing at all, right? But the mutual company or the non-profit, whatever investment they have in a portfolio, when they receive profit or loss, they share with their policy owners.
Sure.
right? So that where some scholars are giving, because 2007 I came into the financial field. 2025, I've been counting people. Let me ask, how many have a zero debt here?